A shed update, and first off, I bought the Arc a new hobby knife. So I always need a knife in here, and I got several, but anyway, I went ahead and just bought one. That way I can just leave it in here, and because you always need a hobby knife anywhere you go, even in the house, in the Arc, workbench, wherever, you always need a hobby knife. So the Arc itself gets a hobby knife for the Arc. Up here, I'm going to change this just a tad. I got some, where is it? Well, let's do, I got some vinyl kits that are basically in the box that are upstairs, and we'll go through them, probably tomorrow. But I'm going to rearrange them, put them in the back. I'm going to put the vinyl kits, there, and I have some bagged Aurora kits, and, I was going to stick them here, but I think I'm going to put them up there with the, vinyl kits, the way I got it planned. But I added some bag Godzilla, bag comic scene Spider-Man to go with you know, Lone Ranger, Tonto, and all that. But anyway, we're gonna get to that later on. But we're gonna add some kits to the Arc. First up is the Jolly Roger Hexmarks Spot, which is the old MPC Dead Man's Wrath. This actually makes number 2 for me, which, you know, that's the way we like to roll around here. We like to have 2 kits for the Arc. I actually got a third one coming from the hobby store, which I had on order in layaway, and I forgot all about it in the spur of the moment. So now I'm going to have actually 3 of them technically, but I'll have 2 unbuilt kits and 1 built one. But anyway, that's what's on the workbench as we speak. Anyway, I thought I'd really never own one. I mean, I built them as a kid, and I don't know why I didn't keep it. That's the craziest thing, but who knows. I built one. It's actually a skeleton that's on quicksand, where he's helping up a skeleton out of quicksand. That's the one I remember the most. And anyway, I'm glad they reissue. Hopefully these do well, and everyone buys them so we can have more in the series, because I think they're just absolutely fun in a box. So anyway, we're adding Hexmarks the Spot / Dead Man's Wrath. Went to a garage sale. Only thing they had on the table was the now most people are going to say this is Pirates of the Caribbean, but I have to correct everyone. It's not. It is a Caribbean pirate ship. Anyway, you can see the price that I paid. Anyway, good price. I do like sailing ships. I do like sailing ships that are also consistent scale. You know, that's 72nd. Anyway, and it's one of those. I do like the glow in the dark paint effect. I think it looks pretty slick if you could do it that way. You don't even need glow in the dark paint, because I really got to thinking about this. You could actually paint this in actually the greens that it is. I think that would look pretty darn slick, and yours would be unique on a contest table if it was painted in the ghostly green color. But that's just me, you know, we like different. Plus there's an old Transformer show that actually had this, basically a ship like this, but it had space engines on it, and I thought it was a cool saying, "Oh man." But anyway, we're adding the Caribbean pirate ship to the Arc. And then it was Force Friday. Well, Force Friday number 2. Well, Revell came out with some model kits. Well, anyway, I had to have all of them, because it's basically, you know, the fanboys start complaining, and I like models and I like spaceships. But first up, Poe Dameron's black X-Wing with the booster. And the only thing different with this kit is you get the little booster on the back. It's the same kit as, let's go to the Star Wars archives. It's actually the same kit as the Force Awakens black X-Wing, which everyone should pretty much be familiar with. It's identical, except for the engine, and they added a pilot. So you know, number 1, had to have it for that reason. And if you're keeping up with the news, this is Octu, where Luke is at, and I don't know why he has to have, I don't know why the X-Wing needs a booster. That's the thing that's puzzling me, but hopefully when the movie comes out we will understand. But anyway, we're adding Poe Dameron's X-Wing again to the Arc. The ATM6. Now, it's one of them. It's everyone's calling it the Gorilla Walker. I agree, it does. It's actually a pretty decent size. It's like 1/126, which, you know, 126 feet away. But anyway, it's basically the same size. It's just a tad bit smaller, but it's basically the same size as the old MPC AT-AT. It's just just about the same size if you've seen one of those. So it's pretty decent. It's bigger than the cargo walker, which you know, I know why they do stuff like that. Just because, you know, it is a build and play, and it's generated for the younger modelers, which I encourage a lot. That's why I also like these kits, is because they're geared at kids and not necessarily adults, you know, and the adults are the ones who complain the most, and, you know, the kids get short end of the stick there. But anyway, I encourage entry-level modeling. So anyway, I think it's a cool kit. I got to really see how it does in combat. Hopefully the Last Jedi, you know, will show it, and you know, because it's on the planet called Crate, which you know, in this model, I'll say this, it's actually pretty decent. I mean, it looks toy-like, and not everyone's, you know, going to bang on the keyboard and complain. It's not the same. It's not the same as the AT-AT. But anyway, it's one of those where it just needs a wash, a little dry brushing, and it just needs a good base, and it really set the model off. But anyway, we're going to add the ATM6 to the ARC. Also, they came out with Kylo Ren's. Now it says TIE Fighter, which actually it's called the TIE Silencer. But one thing that interests me the most, and they probably just did this for aesthetics on the box art, but you know, he shouldn't be next to a Death Star, and the ties are not first orders. They are Imperial ties, not first order ties with the reverse paint job. Anyway, again, TIE Fighter, especially, you know, Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, which, hey, let's go down to the Star Wars archives and we will explain this a little bit more. Basically, you know, you got Granddad's TIE Fighter, so we got to have, you know, Kylo Ren's grandson's TIE Fighter, so, you know, special and all that. Maybe they'll make you know, like for example, they made the TIE Bomber, you know, basically out of Vader's wings there. I wonder if they'll do something like that. First order TIE out of the TIE Silencer. That would be pretty slick. But anyway, it's one of those. I think it's pretty darn slick. Kind of the non-circular ball for the front. This is growing on me, which I kind of like. Really, I think it looks pretty darn slick that way. But anyway, we're adding the TIE Silencer to the ARC, and then last is the Resistance A Wing. Now this one is the blue version, and only way if I read it correctly, you can only get this at Target, and I don't know if you can get it online or what, but they said for like a month, September 1st to October 1st, you'll be able to get this A Wing, and then the A Wing changes colors, and it's actually the one after this will be red and white, which I want that one once it comes out. But anyway, I'll probably get another one of these for collector purposes, and we will definitely add that. Anyway, this is basically the McCrory A Wing, and this A Wing, back it down to the Star Wars archives, it's actually bigger than the NPC, which this is 1/44 scale, which I know people are going to bang on the keyboard. It's not 48. It's actually really close to 48, and I'll say this. There's the build and play mechanism that's in here. It's actually the cockpit. Get rid of that and get you, for example, I don't got one here. Well, where's one? That's close enough. That's like 1/41 scale, so technically that's 48. You can basically get you a cockpit, 48 scale, stick it in there, and you got a 48 scale McCrory A Wing, which is basically bigger than the Return of the Jedi A Wing, which I believe is smaller. Then you go to the McCrory A Wing, which is bigger for the Last Jedi, and then the you know, Star Wars Rebels had one as well. So anyway, it's one of those. We do like our A Wings, and I think that's probably. I do like all the kits that came out, but I do like the A Wing that came out this time around. I think it's just absolutely slick. So anyway, and again, even if you don't want to repaint it, you can put a wash on it, and you'll have an extremely well built model. Anyway, adding the I call it the McCrory A Wing to the ARC. And ladies and gentlemen, I actually I went ahead and built a new pulpit for the ARC. I got rid of my little gray shelf, which it did serve its purpose, but it was actually one of those when I was putting everything in, it was just handy and all that. But I wanted to build one just a little bit, basically about 2-3 inches taller, and a little bit wider, and there was no lip or anything. This way I can, I hate to say, you know, preach to the models, and we like to preach and talk about models all day long, plus just good solid surface for when I do look at kits for video reviews. So anyway, new pulpit for the art. It's and Brad is not a carpenter, but anyway, it's sturdy, and it will serve its purpose, and I can move it if need be, because I may need to go down there and work on you know, that section of the art. But anyway, that is what I've got going on today. We are going to get ready to rearrange just a little bit of this so we can do add some more bag kits, some vinyl kits, and we are adding the A Wing, adding the tie silencer, adding the ATM6. We're adding another Poes XWing with booster, adding some pirate ships, and Hexmarks Spot, and of course the new pulpit for the art. So that's what I have got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.